This is Catholic Challenge, Teen Edition, on the Living Bread Radio Network. Teens will test their knowledge of the Catholic faith. Join us on this journey as we navigate our way from BC to AD and everything in between. Today's defenders of the faith will take up their shield and sword to compete for prize money and a chance to move on to the next round of competition. Are you ready for the challenge? And now, here's your host, Michael Roberts.
Hello and welcome to Catholic Challenge Teen Edition here on the Living Bread Radio Network. Today we have two teams that will compete, testing their knowledge of the Catholic faith. Each team is playing for their favorite Catholic charity, and whoever wins today will earn $200 for that charity and the opportunity to advance to the next round. So today we have two teams that have returned. They are doing very well in our Catholic Challenge program. We welcome Elizabeth Clements and Sydney Lorenz from Tuscarawas Central Catholic High School in New Philadelphia. And we have Elizabeth Peterson and Katie Frank. They are back playing for Catholic Near East Welfare. So teams, nice to have you with us once again. Before we begin our game, as always though, we find out how to play. So here are the rules.
In round one, each team will answer 5 questions. Correct answers are worth 10 points each. Questions are either true, false, or multiple choice. The contestants may confer, but the team captain must answer the question. There is no penalty for incorrect answers. If all 5 questions are answered correctly, the team will be given a chance to answer a bonus question worth 25 points.
All right, Tuscarawas Central Catholic, you will go first. Elizabeth Clements, you are the team captain. Round 1 starts right now. Question number 1, true or false? Every Sunday of the year is considered a Little Easter Sunday celebration. True or false?
True.
Absolutely true. We are an Easter people, as they say. Here's question number 2. In the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6, Jesus says, "When you are praying, do not use meaningless repetition as the Gentiles do." He goes on to say, "Pray then in this way." And he teaches us what prayer: the Our Father, the Apostles' Creed, or the Hail Mary?
Our Father.
Absolutely right. Question number 3. The term the mystical body of Christ is used to refer to what? The Vatican, the Catholic Church, or our families?
The Catholic Church.
Absolutely, we are the mystical body of Christ. Question number 4. Who is called our Father in faith? Abraham, Moses, or Peter?
Abraham.
Yeah, and we're reminded about that when the priest uses Eucharistic prayer number 1. It says in there, Abraham, our father in faith. Here's question number 5. In Jewish times, the penalty for adultery was death by what? Stoning, mutilation, or starvation?
Stoning.
Absolutely right. You got all 5 of those right, TCC. We move on now to the bonus question. Here it is. What is the name of the colored outer garment that the priest wears while saying Mass? Is it an alb, a chasuble, or a cincture?
Chasuble.
Absolutely right, and that is a round 1 sweep. Tuscarawas Central Catholic, you now have 75 points. We move on now to Catholic Near East Welfare. The captain is another Elizabeth Peterson. Question number 1 starts for you right now. The Good Friday service includes an opportunity to venerate what? A relic, the Eucharist, or the cross?
The cross.
Yeah, it's a beautiful part of the Good Friday service when we venerate the cross. Question number 2, which plant is the least of all seeds, but when it is grown, it is the greatest among herbs? Is it oregano, thyme, or mustard?
Mustard.
Yeah, absolutely. It comes from Matthew chapter 13, verse 32. Although it is the smallest of all seeds, yet it grows into the largest of garden plants and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air come and nest in its branches. We're talking about the mustard seed. Here's question number 3. True or false? A husband must love his wife as Christ loves his church. True or false?
True.
You got it. Absolutely. Here's number 4. For how long was Jonah stuck inside the great fish? A week, a month, or 3 days?
3 days.
Yeah, there's that number 3 again. Number 3, 3 days. Here's question number 5. What guided the Israelites through the wilderness? A pillar of cloud and fire, a path on the ground, or a river?
A pillar of cloud and fire.
Yeah, absolutely right. Well, you two got all 5 of those right. We move on now to the bonus question. Here it is. Where did the man who received 1 talent from his master hide it? Did he hide it in a box, in the ground, or in a tree?
In the ground.
Absolutely right. It comes from Matthew chapter 25:18, and that is a round 1 sweep. Both teams now tied at 75 points. I have a feeling this is going to be a great game, and we have a whole lot more coming up, including the opportunity for you to meet our contestants. It's all on the way next. Stay with us. You're listening to Catholic Challenge here on the Living Bread Radio Network.
Since 1960, the aim of Walsh University has been to develop students' mind, body, and spirit. That belief has called them to help support Catholic Challenge. Walsh University, a proud sponsor of Catholic Challenge. Find out more at walsh.edu.
St. Raphael Bookstore is a proud financial sponsor of Catholic Challenge, the one-stop shop for defenders of the faith. Their resources are geared toward lifelong and new members of the faith. Online at catholicbook.net.
And welcome back to Catholic Challenge Teen Edition here on the Living Bread Radio Network. I'm your host, Michael Roberts, and today our competitors are Elizabeth Clements and Sydney Lorenz from Tuscarawas Central Catholic High School in New Philadelphia, and Elizabeth Peterson and Katie Frank. They are here playing for Catholic Near East Welfare. So teams, once again, it's great to have you with us. Let's remind our listeners at home a little bit about our 2 teams. So Elizabeth Clements, we'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your partner, Sydney Lorenz.
Well, I am a senior at TCC, and Sydney is a junior. And we've been very heavily involved in our parishes. She goes to Holy Trinity, Zor, and I go to the St. Joseph Parish in Dover. And next year, I will be attending Walsh University and majoring in accounting.
Very good. Obviously, you guys are heavily involved in your school as well, and you're playing for your high school, Tuscarawas Central Catholic. Remind our listeners about TCC.
Our school is very small. We know each and every person, and we have a very good connection with our teachers, and we're very passionate about our faith, and we're doing this so that we can raise money to for our school to go on to trips like retreats, just to make them better for the future students.
Great. And I'll tell you what, you guys have been doing very well in the challenge so far. What's your response been? Has it been pretty fun for you guys, or has it been kind of nerve-wracking to go through all this?
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
we're learning a lot each time.
Good. Well, you guys are doing very well, so thanks again for being with us. Let's go over and talk to our friends from Catholic Near East Welfare. They too have won their previous game. And Elizabeth Peterson, you are the team captain. If you would tell us about yourself and your partner, Katie.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Peterson. I'm 13 years old and I'm in 8th grade. Katiana is in 9th grade. We're both homeschooled, and we both really like science, and I like history. She likes sports, so we're very into things like that.
Yeah. What parish do you guys go to?
I go to St. Joseph's in Dover. She goes to St. Mary's in Massillon.
All right. So you guys get 2 opposite ends of the spectrum there, kind of a half hour between you there. That's great. Let's talk also about the organization that you're playing for, the Catholic Near East Welfare. Tell us a little bit about that organization.
It's a papal organization which aids all people, not limited to Catholics or even Christians alone, in Eastern Europe, Africa, and the Middle East.
And what made you guys choose that organization to play for?
We really wanted to do it because there are a lot of people in those areas of the world that need help. You know, they're without the basic necessities of life. Some of them are being persecuted, dying for their faith.
Wow.
So
That's great.
we thought it
Well,
would be a good
it's nice that
organization.
you guys chose that organization, and it's great to have you again with us. Again, you guys have had success. Your reaction from the last round is kind of the same as TCC, kind of fun, but nerve-wracking at the same time.
Yes.
Hopefully you've been learning some things as well along the way. That's what it's all about, right? All right. Girls, thanks so much. And again, we thank you both for joining us. We're ready to move on now to round number 2, though, but as always, we'd like to find out how to play. Here we go.
In round 2, each team will answer 5 questions. Correct answers are worth 15 points each. Questions are either true, false, or multiple choice. The contestants may confer, but the team captain must answer the question. There's no penalty for incorrect answers. If all 5 questions are answered correctly, the team will be given a chance to answer a bonus question worth 25 points.
All right, Tuscarawas Central Catholic, you will go first. Elizabeth Clements, team captain. Round 2 begins right now. Question number 1. What happens to Zechariah as a result of his disbelief in the angel's words that his wife will bear a son? He goes blind, he becomes deaf, or he becomes mute?
He goes blind.
No, the correct answer there is he becomes mute. And then, of course, as we know the story goes, he eventually does gain his voice back. Here's question number 2. In what language was the Old Testament originally written? Hebrew, Greek, or Latin?
Hebrew.
Absolutely right. Here's question number 3. This patron saint shares a name with a young girl who journeyed somewhere over the rainbow. Who is this martyr who is the patron of horticulture, flowers, florists, and gardeners? Saint Juanita, Saint Dorothy, or Saint Teresa?
Saint Dorothy.
Yeah, absolutely right. And on the way to her execution, a young lawyer scoffed at Dorothy and asked her to send some roses when she got to heaven. After her martyrdom, an angel child supposedly appeared to the lawyer with a basket of fruit and roses not native to that area. Saint Dorothy. Here's question number 4. 2 trees grew in the middle of the Garden of Eden. The tree of life and the tree of what? Knowledge, good fruit, or happiness?
The tree of knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely right. And here's question number 5 for you. Who was promised by the Holy Spirit that he wouldn't die until he saw the Messiah? Was it Moses, Simeon, or Samson?
Simeon.
You got it, and this was fulfilled, of course, at the presentation in the temple. All right, TCC, at the end of round 2, you have 135 points. We move over now to Catholic Near East Welfare. Elizabeth Peterson, you are the team captain, and round 2 begins for you right now. Here's question number 1. This saint, who played a very prominent role in the life of Jesus and Mary, has 2 feast days, March 19th and May 1st. Was it St. Jude, St. Joseph, or St. Anthony?
St. Joseph.
Yeah, absolutely. His main feast is March 19th, and then, of course, on May 1st, we celebrate the feast of St. Joseph the Worker. Here's question number 2. Who carries the title of Vicar of Christ on earth? Priests, bishops, or the Pope?
The Pope.
Our Holy Father, he is the Vicar of Christ. Question number 3. What is the name of the angel who appeared to Mary to announce that she was chosen to be the mother of the Son of the Most High? Was it Gabriel, Raphael, or Michael?
Gabriel.
All 3 of them celebrate their feast day, though, on the 29th of September, but you're right, St. Gabriel is the correct answer there. Here's question number 4. Aaron turned his rod into a serpent before Pharaoh. Other men were also able to turn their rods into serpents, but theirs were eaten by Aaron's serpent. Who were these other men? Prophets, soldiers, or magicians?
Magicians.
Yeah, it comes from Exodus chapter 7, verse number 12. And here's question number 5. In the parable of the 10 virgins, who were they waiting for? The gatekeeper, the master, or the bridegroom?
The bridegroom.
Yeah, from Matthew chapter 25, the bridegroom. All right, you got all 5 of those right. Let's move on to that bonus question, and here it is. Sarah's slave, Hagar, bore Abraham a son. What was his name? Isaac, Jesse, or Ishmael?
Ishmael.
Absolutely right. And you got all of those right. That is a round 2 sweep. So congratulations, Catholic Near East Welfare. You now have 175 points. Still very close game, though. Tuscarawas Central Catholic, you have 135 points. We're almost ready to move into round 3 here today, but before we do, we always like to take a moment and thank our sponsors. They are our very generous sponsors who provide all the prize monies for our program. We give special thanks to Ziegler Tire, St. Raphael Bookstore, and Walsh University. You know, we're so thankful to have these great organizations continue to partner with us to help all of you learn more about the Catholic faith. So very much a thank you to our sponsors. All right, now on to round number 3. Let's hear those rules.
In round 3, each team will answer 5 questions. Correct answers are worth 20 points each. Questions are either true, false, or multiple choice. The contestants may confer, but the team captain must answer the question. There is no penalty for incorrect answers. If all 5 questions are answered correctly, the team will be given a chance to answer a bonus question worth 25 points.
All right, Tuscarawas Central Catholic, you will lead us off. Elizabeth Clements, round 3 starts right now. Question number 1, true or false? Christians are called to deal with suffering by uniting it to the suffering of Christ. True or false?
True.
As the saying goes, offer it up. That's the well-known phrase when it comes to that. All right, here's question number 2. How many sons did Jacob, also known as Israel, have? 8, 10, or 12?
12.
A dozen, 12. That is the answer. Question number 3. Where does the Pope live? Paris, Munich, or Vatican City?
Vatican City.
One of my most favorite places on earth, Vatican City. So gorgeous. Question number 4. A fire pot and torch passed between the sacrifices of this man after he had questioned God about his promises. Was it Abraham, Isaac, or Moses?
Moses.
No, the correct answer there was Abraham, and passing between the halves of a sacrifice was an especially solemn way to make an oath, but it was Abraham. All right, here's question number 5. The word evangelist comes from the Latin evangelium, which means gospel or good news. Writers of what documents were called evangelists? Old Testament, encyclicals, or New Testament?
New Testament.
Yeah, absolutely right. And at the end of round number 3, TCC, you have 215 points. We move over now to Catholic Near East Welfare. Elizabeth Peterson, here we go. Round 3 starts for you guys right now. Question number 1, true or false? The Archangel Gabriel serves in the role of a messenger both in the Old Testament and the New Testament. True or false?
True.
Yeah, absolutely. In the Old Testament, Gabriel explained the prophet Daniel's visions to him. In the New Testament, Gabriel appeared to Zechariah and to the Virgin Mary, foretelling the births of their sons. Of course, John the Baptist and Jesus. Very good. Here's question number 2. Who wrote the papal encyclical Humanae Vitae? Pope Paul VI, Pope John Paul II, or Pope Francis?
Could you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, who wrote the papal encyclical Humanae Vitae? Pope Paul VI, Pope John Paul II, or Pope Francis?
Pope John Paul II.
No, I'm sorry. The correct answer there is Pope Paul VI. That is the correct answer on that. All right, here's question number 3. Simeon tells Mary at the presentation of Jesus in the temple that her heart will be pierced by what? A thorn, a knife, or a sword?
A sword.
A sword shall pierce her heart. Absolutely. Here's question number 4. The Lord entrusted the keys of the kingdom of heaven to whom? St. Peter, St. Paul, or St. Philip?
St. Peter.
Yeah, and a lot of times when you see statues of St. Peter, he's usually holding keys. Question number 5. This is an outward sign instituted by Christ to give us grace. Is it the priesthood, the Vatican, or sacraments?
Sacraments.
That is indeed a sacrament. All right. At the end of round number 3, Catholic Near East Welfare, you have 255 points. Tuscarawas Central Catholic, you have 215 points. Now, the challenge round is coming up next, and that could make the difference. We'll find out coming up. But before we take our next break, we always like to give you, our listening audience, a question. And so here we go. You can play along at home. What is it called when we destroy the honor or fame of another person by accusing him or her falsely? We'll give you the answer coming up. Go know where you are listening to Catholic Challenge here on the Living Bread Radio Network.
Prize money for Catholic Challenge is provided in part by Ziegler Tire, serving the listening area for 97 years and counting, with name brand tires and auto service that you can trust. Find out more at ZieglerTire.com.
Local programming on the Living Bread Radio Network brings the Catholic community together, like daily reflections from a local clergy member and local Catholic events on our community calendar. We're here for you at the Living Bread Radio Network.
And welcome back to Catholic Challenge here on the Living Bread Radio Network. Before the break, we left you with a question. What is it called when we destroy the honor or fame of another person by accusing him or her falsely? It is the sin of calumny. That's what it is called. All right, we've got a great game going here. Catholic Near East Welfare, you are in the lead with 255 points. Tuscarawas Central Catholic, you have 215 points. It is now time for the challenge round. It's a little different. Let's hear the rules.
This final round combines knowledge and speed. The first team to ring in may answer the question. If the contestants ring in before the host is finished asking the question, the host will not finish reading the question. If the answer is incorrect, no points are lost, but the other team will have the opportunity to hear the question in its entirety. Correct answers are worth 30 points each. There are 15 questions in the challenge round, and in case of a tie at the end of this round, we will have a tiebreaker question. The team with the most points at the end of this round will be awarded $200 for their organization and will move on to the next round of competition. And the losing team will be awarded $50 for their organization.
All right, contestants, hands on your buzzers. The challenge round starts right now. Question number 1. After he murdered Abel and his subsequent confrontation with the Lord, Cain departed and settled where? Need an answer. The correct answer, he settled in the land of Nod. That's where he settled. Question number 2. The Feast of Mary, the Mother of God, the Assumption of Mary, All Saints' Day, the Immaculate Conception. Tuscarawas Central Catholic.
Holy Days of Obligation.
Yeah, the Immaculate Conception, Christmas Day, these are all considered what in the calendar of the Catholic Church? They are holy days of obligation, meaning we are obligated to attend Mass on those days. All right, here's question number 3. Whose feast day is celebrated on March 19th? Tuscarawas Central Catholic.
St. Joseph.
Absolutely right. Question number 4. What is a prayerful, earnest desire to receive Holy Communion when one is unable to do so? Tuscarawas Central Catholic.
Spiritual communion.
Absolutely. Question number 5. To what place did Joseph and Mary go for the census? Tuscarawas Central Catholic.
Bethlehem.
You are correct, and you have 335 points, TCC. Catholic Near East Welfare, you have 255 points. We continue on now with the challenge round. What is the formal prayer which the priest pronounces over the penitent when he forgives the sins? TCC.
Absolution.
The priest gives the penitent absolution. Question number 7. What event occurred to help release Paul and Silas from prison? Catholic Near East Welfare.
There was an earthquake.
Yeah, it comes from Acts chapter 16, verse 26. Question number 8. How many plagues did God send? Catholic Near East.
10.
God sent 10 plagues on Egypt. Question number 9. He was the author of one of the Gospels, and he was a tax collector. Catholic Near East Welfare.
Matthew.
St. Matthew, and then, of course, Jesus called him to be an apostle. Question number 10. Who are God's chosen people in the TCC?
The Israelites.
Or the Jewish people, absolutely. They were the chosen people in the Old Testament. And TCC are in the lead with 395 points. Catholic Near East Welfare, you have 345 points. Here's question number 11. What is the final step in recognizing an individual as a saint? TCC.
Canonization.
You got it. Here's question number 12. What is the name of the woman who wiped Jesus' face? Catholic Near East Welfare.
Veronica.
Yeah, she wiped Jesus' face in the 6th station of the cross. Question number 13. What saint is often pictured carrying the child Jesus on his Catholic Near East?
St. Anthony.
No, I'm going to reread the question. TCC, I'll give you the opportunity to answer. What saint is often pictured carrying the child Jesus on his shoulders through a stream and is called the Christ bearer?
St. Christopher.
The patron saint of travelers. His feast day is July 25th, although really he is not on the church calendar right now technically, but he's one of the more popular saints in the Catholic faith. All right, here's question number 14. A nuptial mass is also called what? Catholic Near East Welfare. Need an answer?
A wedding mass.
Yeah, wedding or marriage, also known as a nuptial mass. All right, and here is question number 15. What did King Solomon ask for when God, Catholic Near East?
Wisdom.
Yeah, King Solomon asked for wisdom when God appeared to him in a dream, the wisdom to judge between good and evil. That is the game. What a game it has been. Congratulations to Tuscarawas Central Catholic, Elizabeth Clements and Sydney Lorenz. You have won $200 and have advanced on to the next round. Also, thank you to Elizabeth Peterson and Katie Frank. They played for Catholic Near East Welfare. A donation of $50 will be given to Catholic Near East Welfare on your behalf. Special thanks also to our sponsors, Ziegler Tire, St. Raphael Bookstore, and Walsh University, whose generous support provides our prize money. Go to livingbreadradio.com to follow the Catholic Challenge scores and brackets. You can also listen to an audio archive of this program. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and Twitter as well. I'm Michael Roberts, and until next time, do your part and defend the faith. And once again, we say congratulations. Tuscarawas Central Catholic, you have 455. Catholic Near East Welfare, you have 435. We'll see you next week for another edition of Catholic Challenge right here on the Living Bread Radio Network.
You've been listening to Catholic Challenge Teen Edition, a production of the Living Bread Radio Network in Canton, Ohio. If you'd like to be a part of the program, email quiz@livingbreadradio.com. For a podcast of this show, go to livingbreadradio.com and join us next time for another edition of Catholic Challenge Teen Edition.